Hello, my name's Lucy, and last summer I started a campaign called No More Page 3. It's appealing to the editor of The Sun to please stop showing the bare breasts of young women in his family newspaper. I'm quite aware that loads of you have probably got far more campaigning experience than I have. I think people are calling this a grassroots campaign. I call it ad hoc campaigning by a beginner. So I'd just like to say, I want you to get as much as you can out of the hour. So if there's anything you want to ask me at any point, just put your hand up and ask a question. And also, because it's ad hoc campaigning by beginners and you guys have got lots of wisdom, if you have any ideas of how I can persuade the most powerful newspaper in the country to stop showing the page 3 images, then please, I'm really keen to hear your suggestions. Thank you. So last summer I bought a copy of The Sun, and I opened it in the shop. It was like a quick purchase at Haywards Heath train station. I opened the paper and I didn't see a page 3 girl, and I didn't see her on page 5, and I just assumed that The Sun had dropped page 3 while the Olympics was on. And I thought maybe it was editorial space, or maybe out of respect for all the other cultures that were visiting the country. So I buy The Sun because it's renowned for its sports coverage and because it's the Olympics. So I'm sitting there, and I was kind of in a bit of an equality bubble because there's lots of people spoke about it at the time, but we don't see hardly ever women's sports covered on the telly. I heard Yvette Cooper say, we see that women's sport gets the same coverage as men's darts. So during the Olympics was actually a time when we're seeing women being celebrated for their achievements, standing on podiums, we're reading all about them. So I was kind of in an equality bubble, and I was reading all about Jessica Ennis and her amazing gold medal. Anyway, then I turned to page 13, and I was quickly snatched out of the equality bubble because there was this picture of this massive image of a very beautiful young woman in her knickers. And just made me feel really quite weird at first, and then very sad, but I found I couldn't stop thinking about it. Hers was the largest female image in that issue, so it was bigger than any of the images of Jessica Ennis, even though she just won this tremendous gold medal. And I realised it had been that way for 42 years, so the largest female image in the most widely read newspaper in the country has always been of a young woman showing her breasts for men. I really couldn't stop thinking about it. I got to the point where I'd wake in the night and be like, we live in a society that makes women feel uncomfortable for breastfeeding in public, and yet we're happy showing teenage boobs in our biggest selling family newspaper. It just didn't make sense. And then I'd be like, well, what about, 1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted in their lifetime in this country? Then why are we showing women as primarily there for men's sexual pleasure? It doesn't seem sensible. So I'm having all these thoughts go around in my head, and I write a letter to Dominic Mohan that was 3 pages long, 8 points of why I thought he should stop showing the topless pictures. But I knew once I'd written the letter that was going to do absolutely nothing. I just, really wrestled with the issue, and from whichever way I was coming from, I couldn't see these images were doing women any favours. So I sort of thought, bloody hell, can I? I don't know, can I start a campaign? Can I feel all this passion and be the only one? And should I start a campaign to see if I am? So I did a little search online, which was the best online petitions, and I got an article that listed, I think it was about 4. And I picked change.org because I liked the cleanness of the site and it seemed quite easy to use. And then I started a Twitter and a Facebook. I also wrote a big list, which I kind of think now was my magic list, because I wrote a big list, how could I do this, and the list was it was just brainstorming. So it was various people who I thought might be supportive, because I thought I might need some supportive people. And it was various things that I thought could be used in a campaign. I was like, one thing I thought was a logo. You need a logo. And then I was like, well, I don't really know anyone in design. But my friend's ex-husband's got a t-shirt making business. Maybe I could get a t-shirt, photo someone in a t-shirt, and that could be the logo, which is what we did. And then I was like, how do you design a t-shirt? And I thought, Frankie says relax. So maybe we could just put no more page 3 in the style of Frankie says relax. So I did that and photographed my niece and various people in the t-shirt. And that has become the kind of image of the campaign, if you like. And then I was thinking about what text I should put on the change.org, and I didn't want it to be, I wrote one and it was kind of I was talking about, sexual violence and things like that, and that just didn't seem right. I wanted it to be really inclusive, and I wanted it to show the absurdity of these images. So I settled on a text which said something like, George Alagaya doesn't say in the middle of the 9 o'clock news, and now here's Courtney from Coventry's bare breasts, does he? So I was trying to show the absurdity and keep it quite light. So I think I've always wanted it to be a relatively fun campaign and a light campaign, in the sense of it is a serious issue, but I wanted the conversation to be inclusive rather than exclusive, so to keep it kind of light and engaged. So in the first day, we hit Twitter, and Twitter's been unbelievable. Like, I don't think we would have got anywhere without Twitter, to be honest, especially in the early days. But it was a combination of having a petition and Twitter. So you can tweet people, you can tweet anybody, you could tweet Caitlin Moran. It doesn't have the exclusivity of Facebook where you have to be a friend with someone. Everyone is available to you. They're kind of not completely available to you in the early stages, though. I did get suspended from Twitter 3 times from just rampantly tweeting everybody, and then they'd think you're spam, and then they suspend you for a bit, but it was all fine in the end. But it meant that you could tweet various people and say, will you sign this petition? Now, we also shared the petition on Facebook, and I remember sitting there with my niece. My niece was 19 at the time, and she's a student, and she just posted the petition to No More Page 3 on her Facebook page, and we were sitting there typing away, and she suddenly went, oh my God, and I was like, what's happened? She said, come and have a look, and I walked around at her screen, and she'd just posted the petition on her page, and suddenly loads of guys just came out going, tits, tits, I want to see tits, I want tits at breakfast, I want tits in my face, we were like, wow, what's going on here, And it was quite interesting because a lot of the women just went in and liked her status, and then we saw that they'd gone and signed the petition. But at the same time, there was this quite a blokey, which, I think we'd now call lad culture, people who've maybe grown up with Page 3 as a norm, then hit lads mags, boobs are theirs, these are their boobs, and they think they have a right to them. So it's quite interesting, and it made me feel quite worried about, obviously I love my niece, and I was quite worried for her and how she'd respond to that. And she was amazing. She just individually answered every one of them. So it did take her ages, but by the end of it, these same guys were going, good on you. Yeah, I wish you luck. But it was a kind of quite a opening up the reality that there is quite a deep-rooted strand of sexism, I would say, in our society. So that was probably a good lesson because we have encountered quite a lot of that. So we exploded Twitter, and we really did explode Twitter. It said in an article in the Huffington Post, no more Page 3 coming to a Twitter feed near you, and we just didn't stop on the Twitter. We got 170 signatures in the first day, but I did feel a bit like we'd bled for them, I have to say. But at the very end of the day, a journalist tweeted and said, I think I'd like to write an article about this. Could I? And it was like, brilliant. Anyway, she ended up writing this terrific article in the Huffington Post. So then we tweeted that. So we were tweeting the petition and we were tweeting that. We were also doing something which we've continued to do, and it's been really good. The petition is amazing because it's just a platform. And we've kept it there are so many reasons for signing this petition. Some people do it because they think, maybe breastfeeding should be encouraged, so they do that. Some people, have had issues with sexual violence. Many people have said that they were abused, and they were made to look at Page 3. I mean, some ghastly things, but everybody's got their own reason for signing the petition. And the petition allows people to say why they're signing. So what we would do is we would take little snippets from the reasons that people were signing, and we would tweet that. So it wasn't just we weren't telling people what to believe or why to do it, but we were kind of sharing all the reasons that people were signing for. We also started Facebook. We started a blog. We've always tried to sort of engage people what they can do, It became quite evident quite early on that some people felt really passionately about this and had done for a long time. So passionately that they'd write a blog about it, a blog that might make you weep. It was so brilliant and beautiful and really kind of honest. So we tweet that as well. We tweet all these blogs. We were very supportive and grateful. One thing we've been really careful to do with all our social media is really be grateful, because we really are. Some people, it can feel quite vulnerable speaking out about this, and we were kind of really aware of that. So we've really kind of made an effort to really thank people and engage with them. And keep it light. That was just one really big thing. And try and really have a kind of personal voice to it on the Twitter. It feels like I'm talking about Twitter a lot because it was just so powerful. And what I still think now is such a strength of the campaign is that it's a warm, live campaign. Like, you can go onto Twitter now and someone will probably be tweeting, or will have done 20 minutes ago. You can go onto the Facebook page and there'll be a discussion and something will have been posted quite recently. It's alive, It doesn't disappear and go dark for weeks or for days. It's something that people can go to and engage with. And I think that's made people, people come up to me and say, you know, now it's really lovely because we've been going a while, so people really do know about it, but they'll say, I love the campaign, thank you, you know, and I shared this, or I did that, or it made me feel strong enough to speak out. And I think that sense of kind of really engaging and really liking and caring for the campaign is because we've kept it so live and so warm all along. So yeah, we were quite lucky at the beginning because poor Kate Middleton was papped topless, and so it was suddenly like breasts. Oh, there's no more page 3 and there's breasts here. So we'll talk to this no more page 3. We'll find out about it. And there has been various things in the news that has meant the media have spoken to us or have been writing and looking at objectification and a culture of sexism. The Jimmy Savile is a big one again. Riva, you know, and the Sun's front page, for example. Recently we had the Keep Calm and Rape a lot. There's so much now, I think, that the news is responding to issues of, you know, sexism. And No More Page 3 seems to have, you know, be now kind of a go-to place where people call us and ask for quotes and things, and will reference the campaign. Yeah, so we tried... it's always been a many-pronged attack because obviously, you know, the problem is we're, you know, appealing to the most powerful newspaper in the country. So it's got to be a kind of many-pronged attack, if you like. So we have an MP's letter, which is a letter just purely for MPs to sign to show their support. This was amazing because it's so simple because MPs, most of them are on Twitter. So you tweet an MP with a link to this letter and you get the constituents to do it. The supporters have been amazing at doing this, saying, yeah, you are my MP, can I add your name to it? And quite often, they say yes, and then we've got then a kind of quite a powerful body of support there. So things like that were quite simple and really effective. We also targeted advertisers, which was kind of, we felt we had to do because obviously advertisers, you know, give thousands of pounds to the Sun for advertising space, and we'd really love one of them to pull out. It's a bit of, I have to say, personally, it feels a bit of a depressing angle because everybody, you know, the Sun has just made so much money from sexism, and people, you know, Tesco's wants to reach all these millions of people that the Sun reaches. So, yeah, so it's kind of been a bit depressing. We did mount a week of boycotts. I did actually, for the major supermarkets, the family-friendly major supermarkets are all the big advertisers in the Sun. So I hate the word boycott sounds so harsh. So I say we politely encourage, no, we politely, you know, how did we put it? What was it? Yeah, I can't remember. We tried to sort of, you know, suggest that people might like to refrain from spending money rather than boycott. But two supermarkets agreed to meet with me. So we took them out of the boycott. And I did meet with Tesco's and I met with Morrison's. Tesco's took the opportunity to tell me how amazing Tesco's are for women. So that was brilliant. And Morrison's were amazing, actually. I met with 3 quite high up guys from Morrison's. One was answerable to the CEO. And they just sat around going, yeah, we totally agree with you. Our CEO is going to write and tell the Sun that we've met with you. We really do agree with you. We really do wish you luck. But sadly, we can't withdraw advertising in the Sun. We reach too many people. So you really do realise really kind of how trapped we are in many ways. Slightly depressing, that note. But we did have a success more recently with Lego. Now, Lego have done over the last 2 years various promotions with the Sun, giving away free kids' toys. So, you know, most of the front pages of the Sun showed kids' toys. Kind of a bit weird, isn't it? So what happened is that last year they did a promotion and we had lots of people who worked in WH Smith signing our petition, saying, I'm signing this petition because I'm seeing really young children come in to want to buy the Sun and I don't think it's suitable, but they're buying it because it's got Lego toys on the cover and they want the free toys. So this half term we did quite a big campaign. As you can see, we created Leanne, 22, from Legoland. With her little black pants and complete with a News in Bricks quote where she quoted her favourite child psychologist. Yeah, and this time we took Leanne to Legoland. We took her to Sun HQ. We also took her to Lego head office in Slough. Now, we had warned Lego that we were going to, you know, that we wanted to engage with Lego about this because obviously they'd done the promotion before. The previous one, loads of our supporters Facebooked, tweeted them, wrote letters, and yet they were very, very cold and ignored us. So this time, yeah, I tried calling, left messages, didn't get any response. One of our supporters started an online petition with change.org appealing to the head of promotions and PR. And every time somebody signed his petition, an email was sent to this woman, the head of promotions. Still to this day, he hasn't had a response. He emailed everybody, all the email addresses he could find on the Lego site. So all the bigwigs in Denmark, all of them in the UK, didn't hear anything back. So he got over 12,000 signatures, so she got over 12,000 emails about Lego. So it's quite interesting that they didn't respond. But yeah, so we took Leanne out, and we took her to Lego HQ, which was quite weird. And people must have tweeted that we were coming, because as we walked up with Leanne, we could see all these people, like on the 3rd floor in the offices, like looking over at us. And then you looked up and they just backed away. It's like being at school. And then this woman came out and wouldn't let us in. So I was like, oh my goodness. But Lego replied to a supporter, not to Steve, who started the petition, and said that that was their final promotion in The Sun. So that was a big change of tack from the other, bits of literature that they'd given out, because they'd never used the word final. So we take that as a victory. And it should be a victory, because I don't know whether you saw. Did you see the Oscars that Seth was talking about in his song? So what you had was this double-page spread of boobs, but it was 4 of the scenes were from rape. There were rape scenes in movies. There was Hilary Swank's nipple showing, but she was covering up a breast that was battered and bruised after a post-rape, a brutal rape. So that was one of the hot nude babe pics. But so they showed these boobs. Oh, and on the other side of the page, free Lego toys for kids. It was just like, what are you doing, Lego? Kind of beloved Lego brand. Is this really how you want, your beautiful toys to be seen? So yeah, so we think they should have done that. But that was a great mini victory for us. And we do try to have lots of mini campaigns within the main campaign as much as possible. Some quite detailed within the week. Yesterday, for example, it was 27 years ago that Claire Short stood up in Parliament talking and introduced her bill. She did a 10-minute bill for, I don't know how it works. Yeah, she did a speech for 10 minutes to put across this bill, talking about the topless pictures in the paper. So it was 27 years ago yesterday. So yesterday was a bit of a Claire Short day. So, we were quoting Claire Short and we were tweeting about Claire Short. On Mother's Day, for example, so it was a lot about quotes from mothers who'd signed the petition. And that was quite beautiful, because we had some, so a lot of women who suffer from breast cancer were sharing stories with that on Mother's Day. So we try to, if there's anything in the news, we can phrase it round, or anything that's going on, then we'll have a bit of a day of something. Probably the one that got the most high profile was Tweet Murdoch Day. Again, Twitter, amazing, isn't it? So we had a Tweet Murdoch Day, and just wrote a little blog about it and encouraged supporters one Sunday to tweet Murdoch, and lo and behold, thank you, he responded, yeah. So yeah, he responded to, seriously, we're also over page 3 at So Last Century. And so yeah, he said, maybe right, considering, and then the bizarre, glamorous fashionistas. Bless him. It just hasn't kind of worked out that women do things and say things and think things, and they're not just there to be looked at. But maybe he'll get there, So that was a really great example of, like a mini campaign idea, that went really well. We've had over 20,000 new signatures from that. The press went a bit bonkers. I went on Mexican telly. But it was great, because we'd sort of started last summer. And we had quite a lot of press, and then I suffered a massive burnout before Christmas. Just hit a wall. Twitter is great, but it's mad. And social media is just like, it just sucks your energy. It's in a way great, but it's kind of this odd adrenaline thing. It's quite manic, and everything happens really quickly, and it's like, oh my God, someone's tweeted, oh my God, Kate and Moran are teed, and you get a bit mental. And you don't really sleep, and then at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're back on it, and then you're doing it till 1, and then I could only sustain it for 4 months, and then I just went, oh my God. Couldn't go on Twitter, didn't really know what to do. But it was the best thing in a way that happened, because I reached out to people, many of whom I didn't know, just that I'd seen on Facebook. There were supporters on Facebook who were just always posting and always commenting, and I knew they were nice, and I knew they were really passionate. Some people I'd met, because we did some protests last year at Sun HQ on Saturday mornings, and some I'd met there, and I just wrote a letter to them and said, actually said, I'm kind of like fucked, and I don't know what to do, because there's this beautiful campaign, and I really think it is beautiful. And just today, a 15-year-old sent me an email saying, thank you very much, and I'm really supporting your campaign, and I've had this experience. And so on the one hand, that's happening, but on the other hand, I'm totally spent, and I just don't know what to do. So would you consider forming a team? And they all wrote back with just the most beautiful things and the big word yes. So we are now, well, we were 7, and now we've just added some more. So we're a powerful 10 now, yeah, of people working, and I haven't met them all. We just communicate through social media, through a closed group on social media, and then we swap ideas. It's been amazing. So everyone's doing it in their spare time, really supportive. I love it. I just think not only is it a great thing we're doing, but I think we're doing it in quite a beautiful way now. And yeah, because it is a funny thing, and there is some, you do get told to fuck off. You've got shit tits quite a lot, and you get some real, I don't know what to call them, but some real people that do test your your patience and your happiness levels and things like that. So it's really lovely to have this kind of space that's safe to share stuff about that and to sort of talk about ideas. So it's very exciting. So other strands of the campaign, university students have been incredible. Many have decided to boycott the Sun in support of No More Page 3. I think there are, LSE, one of the Oxford colleges actually, St Edmund Hall, Sheffield, Edinburgh, Dundee. There's a fair few with more and more wanting to do that, so we're putting together packs to really empower them and help them to do that. Schools, we're really trying to get into schools, to get the debate into schools. I know for me personally, that's the bit I really kind of feel really passionately about, because I think being a woman's pretty amazing, but I think becoming a woman can be just a horrible time at the moment for young women. They're fraught with insecurities, all sorts of just horrible things that they're faced with. And so, yeah, so when they kind of write and say thank you, I realise I don't have to look this way and I don't have to do this, and actually want to get on board, then it's amazing, and we'll do anything we can to go and talk to them and help them. So that's another big strand of the campaign. What other strand? I've got a massive document here somewhere. But one thing I would like, and I do think, again, it's because it's the campaigns against the most powerful newspaper in the country, and I think if this was a campaign about dogs or animals or something, then we might have got a high-profile celebrity backer who just says, yeah, I'm going to run with this. But, again, we'd be pissing off the Sun, and I think, yeah, it's a tricky thing. I haven't given up, but that would be very nice. So if anyone knows any celebrities who might want to get on board, that would be fantastic. Thank you. So what else do I want to tell you about No More Page 3? Yeah, as much as possible, though, I've really seen it as a platform where people can voice their opinion and disagreement, as a platform. And so many people have said thank you, because I've always hated this and I've always felt a bit alone by it and never wanted to say anything, and now I feel really confident. I know the comedian Josie Long said that. She said, I always didn't like to talk about it in my sets, but now I know there's 86,000 people behind me, and I feel really confident, to talk about this. So I think that's been really great. But one thing we've always really encouraged people to do is make it their own campaign. So it's not like we're saying do this, do that. I just say anything that's legal and polite, do it, to get the message out would be brilliant. And I've been totally blown away by people writing poems and recording them. One of the poems has got over 20,000 hits on YouTube. This amazing young woman, Sabrina Mahfouz, did this incredible poem. It's really powerful. But loads of poems, I've been quite surprised how many poems, but songs, comedy sketches, somebody embroidered something and took it down to Sun HQ and put it on their gate there. Just real people, not just signing a petition, but going, yeah, I really believe in that, and I'm going to use my talent to get the message across. And again, Twitter is brilliant, because you go, wow, look what this person did, and you tweet it and you celebrate it. So it's been a bit of an adventure. I'm just going to say now, because they're here, but change.org have been unbelievable. I'm so pleased that I picked them because of their nice, clean format. Yes, because I, have at times asked, for advice and been given incredible advice because I was a bit drowning in what to do. And they send out these amazing emails to people, to their database. So they sent out a great email sort of documenting my story, and we saw the signatures go whoosh, so that was really nice. But yeah, so it was a great decision by me there to pick those amazing people. Yeah, so I kind of think that's kind of where No More Page 3 is. So thank you.